Welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. Whether you're watching us live on YouTube at TradeEZ or listening on your favorite podcast platform, we've got you covered. Subscribe, join the community, and get ready to dive into real talk and real market insights. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, I'm Stephen Kalajian, and welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Wow, what an exciting day today in the markets. We saw the bank stocks get absolutely cabooshed and then rallied way off the lows in the latter part of the afternoon. We saw stocks like Walmart, Costco get absolutely cabooshed, and those are the uglies of the day, right? And then if you look at PLTR, remember I was calling for shorts in PLTR. Well, it blew right through my target of 100 to 102. My second target was 95 to 98, and it hit the 95 and change, and PLTR rallied 10 off the lows. Once I got the 15-minute and the 30-minute buy reversals on my indicator, I knew the lows were in for the day. Also, when the S&P futures reversed to buy probably around 245, 3 o'clock on the SPY and the Qs, the QQQs reversed to buy. I'll show that to you as well. I knew the lows were in for the day. Some really great patterns today. Also, Bitcoin was up over 2,000. Gold was up about 1,600. I'm still looking for a sharp pullback on gold to the 28.30, 28.20. You get that pullback, roughly about 100, 120 points here, 130 points. I'm hoping this happens. That it's very overextended, extremely overbought. And I think once I get this pullback on gold, the next target is 30.50 to 3,100. Again, we saw PLTR really get hit hard, traded all the way down to 95 and change. I caught some great longs on there, and then it pushed up, a couple of good shorts, but I'm going to show you the patterns along the way here. So with that being said, there was so many great divergence patterns, especially like in stocks like Goldman Sachs. Really great pattern where it made a new low, and the MACDs on the smaller time frame they can confirm. But once the spiders and the Qs reversed to buy, I think around here at 3 o'clock, I'll show you, and the MACDs turned positive on the 15. I knew the lows were in for the day, and we were looking to buy pullbacks. But tomorrow, I will show you what I'm going to expect in the second part. But let me show you what I'm going to right now. So let's look at the PLTR to start here, and you can see PLTR on the 15. I'll make this over to the 30-minute here. We got this really big push down here, huge negative MACDs, and this is the first short right here off the 15-minute time frame. Gets up to 103, drops down to par right here, par and change. Again, getting overbought into the negative MACDs. But once this 30, you can see the 30-minute time frame. I knew once the 15 here reversed to buy, and then the 30, I knew that the lows were in for the day using my oscillator and deeply oversold. And you can see that the whole day, I was taking longs and shorts in PLTR, and you can see using off the smaller time frames, very powerful, using the pullbacks here for long entries and for shorts. But if you look here, you can see the yellow dots into the blue. That means it's very strong. And PLTR got down to the 95 and change area. Let me see what the actual low is at one point today. Right here, I think it was the 95.80. 95.80 was the low, and hit it twice. Very strong move here. MACD's positive, ADXs are off. Very strong here. But again, getting overbought, and I'll show you what I expect tomorrow. I think we drop tomorrow on PLTR, maybe down to the 101 level, but let's just see the action. The dailies, very negative here. The algorithm reversed to sell. So you're going to have a lot of overhead resistance here on PLTR. But this was the short. I was telling everybody, I just thought that with the gap up after the earnings, the big push up here, I saw that this was going to have some real significant trouble staying afloat here, and boom, it got absolutely cabooshed. From high was 125.41, and the low is 95.80. So a significant drop here almost $29-30 here on PLTR. I'm going to show you a really great pattern today on the spiders on the S&P, and this is the pattern that really pushed the market down. So basically, we had the big push down here, right here, and you can see basically what happened was the pattern set up at 10:35 in the morning on the 5-minute. When the 15-minute time frame on my indicator 4 reversed to sell, then the 30-minute reversed to sell, and then the 60-minute reverse to sell later on. So basically, the pattern is you short the first bounce on the 5-minute time frame. That happened at 10:35, and I'll show you that pattern. And then I said between 12 and 2 o'clock, you're going to get a short on the 15-minute time frame. And then we got that short, and they dropped. And I'm going to show you both patterns right here and now. They're actually time stamped on my on X. If you want to follow me on social media, you can see it. This is the bear flag right here. We caught the good long here on the S&Ps here. I had a long here with a tight stop and got stopped on the long. Waited for this to really get flushed out. When they S&Ps and the spiders were pushed down to this new low, you're about 34 handles from the 10 bar weighted moving average from price to the 10 bar. Caught this long here because I knew eventually between the hours between the time of 10:20 and 10:50, you're going to get a bounce on the 5-minute time frame. You can see here the move down to the 607.02 S&P futures, and eventually they ran 25 handles off the low. Called this really beautiful short here. This is the first bounce on the 5-minute time frame after the 15 reversed to sell on the spiders, and the 30-minute reverse to sell as well. And you can see the negative MAC. Where are they going with this negative MACD here on both the 15 and the 5-minute? And I'll show you the 30-minute as well. Look at the 30-minute. This is unbelievable short here. Unbelievable short right here. And this is the time period right as soon as the MACDs reverse to sell and the algorithm reverse to sell. It's a beautiful short pattern. And then basically I said that between the time of 12 and 2, and this is the bounce. Again, I use my 10 bar weighted moving average for the ability to look for entries where I'm looking to short into the range. Here was the first bounce on the 15-minute time frame into the negative MACD, and you can see what happened here. Spiders got up to S&Ps got up to the 27 609.10, and they dropped about 15-17 handles on the S&P. And then right here towards the end of the day, we got the buy at 3 o'clock on the S&P futures, and this is what's called a buy reversal on the S&P, right? So basically the 15-minute time frame reversed to buy. The 30-minute and the 60-minute time frames are still negative. And right here you can see that we had the buy, MACD's positive, and so you can take some entries here on the long. So you caught some shorts, but I knew that the lows were in for the day right here when the 15-minute time frame reversed. If you look at the Qs as well, the 15-minute reverse to buy, again 3 o'clock. So once that reversed to buy with those positive MACDs, I knew that the lows were in for the day. And you can see how even on this pullback here at 320, the Qs went from 535.68. They ran about $1.60. So really another way of looking at the market as far as using my indicator 4 to be able to read which way the market is going. We saw stocks like Walmart and Goldman Sachs get really pummeled today. And this is the buy divergence I want to show you. So when Goldman reversed to buy here on the 15-minute time frame, again, when that happens, the lows are in for the day, especially when you come from a deep oversold condition. But look at this pattern in Goldman Sachs. This is a pattern that I have to show you. All right, Goldman Sachs, at the same time around 12:30, the same time that the spiders, the Qs, and the whole world was a short at 12:30 on this pattern. You can see the huge negative MACD, same pattern as the spiders and the Qs. And on the 30-minute as well, you can see the rising ADX here. All right. I'll bring up the 30-minute really quick. You can see it. Okay, you can see the rising ADX, the big selling pressure, negative MACD, and look at the overbought condition into the negative MACD. That's negative divergence number one. Overbought into the rising ADX number two. Overbought into the big selling pressure, and or you got a better chance of really just going to the Vatican and knocking on the door and meeting the Pope, because there's no or asking to meet the Pope, because there's no way this is going any higher. And you can see here on the push up 639.48. And if you count the bars, my trades last anywhere from 1 to 8 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. You can see the drop of about $8. Now, I want to shift over to the 5-minute time frame here. You can see on the 5-minute time frame, you got the push down here. And when you got the push down here on Goldman Sachs, you can see right here, when you got the new low, that the MACDs did not confirm the low. So this is a buy divergence in a negative trend. And then, of course, now that the 15-minute time frame reversed to buy, again, like as I said, the lows are in for the day. And looking at the 30-minute, well, this is a huge bear flag, and I expect some downside tomorrow. So when you see the markets pressing down, S&P futures got down to the 61.02 and 3/4, and they were down roughly about 62 points, and they rallied 30. Well, I'm telling you, based upon my work, we're going to 6,200, 6,220. First stop 61.80, 6,220, maybe 6,230. And then I think there's going to be a significant drop coming into early to mid-March. And then I think we go right back up again. But what I'm trying to say here is, with the bank stocks getting absolutely crushed today, the market only being down 31 points on the S&P, very, very significant, has a lot of underlying strength here. So it's not the time to, like my friend said to me today, they're not ready to go down yet, and they're not, right? When you see a stock like PLTR, which is now trading down $1.20 after hours here, and you see stocks that trade from 125 down to 95 and rally 10, well, this is a great trading market. This is what every trader wants. You want volatility. You want to be able to be involved. Microsoft was a very, very strong stock today. Some really great long patterns and some shorts. When you have a trend, you can get buy and sell divergences. So that's what our strategies are predicated on. And when I get back, I'll tell you what I expect to see tomorrow. All right, so for tomorrow, I'm expecting a really nice pullback here on Microsoft. I think Microsoft's going to set up really, really great on the 60-minute time frame. Also, Bitcoin hit the 98,700, 750. And for me, I'm just thinking that for Bitcoin to be up 2,000, well, I'm looking at the IBITs and they're all in buy mode. So tomorrow, I'm expecting a really nice pullback on the 60-minute time frame on Microsoft, and a really nice pullback on IBIT, which is the underlying ETF for Bitcoin. So a lot of people who trade Bitcoin or Bitcoin futures, I've taught them over the last year that in order to trade Bitcoin during the U.S. session, you really need to look at the underlying ETF, the IBIT. It's really important, again, whether you're trading the Bitcoin futures or trading Bitcoin outright. Again, if you're going to trade the S&P futures, I taught somebody today this on the phone. I went to go get a smoothie. I was on the phone with someone, and I said, you got to learn to trade the S&P futures with the underlying ETFs. The math is completely different. One is a continuous contract, and the other is I look at the real-time hours from 9 to 4 on using the underlying ETF. So tomorrow, there's no big economic numbers coming out at 8:30. Another day, just because the big numbers, as I said, came out last week, the CPI, the PPI, and retail sales. And I expect tomorrow a lot of activity in SMCI, PLTR. Avago didn't act good today. Some great patterns are going to set up here. I got a 30-minute buy reversal on NVIDIA. So probably looking for pullbacks tomorrow in NVIDIA on on the 15 and or 30-minute time frames. Every single day, there's an opportunity here. And what I love about what I do here is I look at the same names every single day, except for when you have various different aberrations in the market, like a Goldman today or Walmart or a Costco. You want to get involved in these names and learn to trade the patterns the way I'm teaching one in my live stream. So in my community here, if anybody wants to join my community, you can just text me at 914-500-7484, and you can go to www.tradeeasy.com, and I will tell you it's well worth it. I stream every single day from 9 to 4. I help people who are looking to intraday trade, whether it's index futures, commodities futures, equities, ETFs, also Bitcoin. And the real love of this is to see the net results that people are experiencing along the way. With that being said, again, I expect a Friday. I do see that the markets will there's always something to do. All right. Has some really great shorts and longs on the S&P. There's always something to do, definitely on the index futures or the underlying ETFs. As far as individual names, well, you can see, with Bitcoin, you can see that at Coinbase and MSTR, you have stocks like PLTR. Meta really can't get out of its own way. It's down from 740. It was a short of a lifetime up around the 740. Traded down today around the 694 level. I think the target is right now 675, 680 before we get a sharp bounce in Meta. But again, this is what we do here each and every day to be consistent, to just try to go for singles and doubles and just try to take money out of the market. When I come back, I will tell you one of the greatest stories ever. So stay tuned. So when I was working on the Florida American Stock Exchange, my father brought me on and he said to me, "Stephen, I want you to learn." I said, "No problem." So after I came home from about 6 months or a year, whatever, about a year of college, I said, "I need a job." And he said to me, "All right, you're going to work on the Florida of the American Stock Exchange." Now the minimum wage back then was $2.10 an hour, if you can believe it. Okay. And I had saved up $3,000, like $3,400. I kept $400. I opened up a brokerage account with $3,000 with my father's good friend up at a firm. And right behind me was I was on the Florida American Stock Exchange, and there was a stock called American Can. AC was the symbol. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. This story is verbatim, all right to the T. And so I don't know, I never traded before. And I see the stock trading like 50 and a half, 50 and a quarter. Back then there were fractions. That's how old I am. And I picked up the phone. I said, "Tommy, buy me 5." Now this is like maybe the beginning of October, right, of that year. So I said, "Buy me 5 Feb 50 calls at 2 3/4. Buy them," right? So now the stock's trading at 50 and a half. I'm buying a February, October, November, December, January, February, 5 months out, a Feb 50 call at 2 3/4, right? I think it was like the end of October. So maybe 4 months, right? He says, "Okay, you bought 5. All right." Now I didn't know anything about what I was doing. I didn't know about the K on premium, I didn't know anything. I just thought the stock was going to go up, right? All right. Stock starts trading lower in the next week and a half, 49, 48 and a half. I buy, I think, 5 more, right? It goes down to 46. A couple of weeks later, I buy 5 more, whatever I did. Anyway, all of a sudden, I use up all my $3,000. I think I bought the last one at 7/8 of a dollar. Whatever I had left, I said, whatever I got left, just buy more at 7/8 of a dollar, right? So anyway, it's Christmas time. Now this stock is probably around 45, 44 and a half, 45, right? And I think they're trading at like maybe a quarter of a cent, right? 25 cents, right? 25 cents, sorry. And I sit there and I'm standing and I go like this and I'm looking at the machine and somebody taps me on the back and he said, "Kid, go home. You can't turn the machines back on." Just like that movie Trading Places, like turn the machines back on, And I looked at him and my Christmas was ruined. the $3,000. I mean, divide 210 into 3,000. How many hours I worked for that, save that money, right? And Christmas was, whatever, right? And then January, forget it, right? And the stock is like cabinet to a steent, which means zero bid, and it's offered at a steent, right? I've pretty much my $3,000 is worthless, right? So my birthday's February 10th, and all of a sudden, the stock's like 40 and a half. So it's down like $10 since I bought this options all the way down. And all of a sudden, I see like a week before expiration, stock's up 2. Tuesday, up 2.5 or something like that. Wednesday, up 3. Thursday, up 3.5, 4. Now it's 49, back to 49 and a half or something like that. Friday, boom, 52 and a half, right? I go at 3:45, I pick up the phone, I said, Tommy, sell my American can calls, whatever I have, 20, 15 of them, whatever I had, whatever it is, sell them. And back then, so as I'm hanging up the phone, it's 3:45, right? I'm watching the stock, and all of a sudden, about 6 minutes later, I see a broker come in. He said, American can, sell 15 Feb 50 calls, sold, boom, like that. That was my order, right? So all of a sudden, as I'm turning around to call Tommy to get the fill, because I knew I sold them. I saw the broker walk into the crowd back then, right? I turn around, and my father's standing there. So he said, are you out? I says, yeah, I'm out. He said, well, I want to tell you something. I said, okay, what do you want to tell me? He says, when I walked on the floor of the American Stock Exchange, obviously, when I walked on the floor on Monday, I found the penny faced up. And I said, okay. He said, I leaned over, I picked it up, and I made a wish that you would not lose any money on your option position. I said, oh, wow, really? He said, what'd you learn from this? I said, whenever you have a losing trade, you look for a penny faced up. He said, no, you moron. He said, you never average down. I swear that is a true story. All right. I got so many more to tell you along the way. I'm doing this 41 plus years, and I never averaged down ever again after that. That lesson, and I tell that lesson to so many people. I come into my world. That is a true story. And as my father walked away, I picked up the phone. I said, Tommy, buy me 5 Merrill calls. I swear that's a true story. Anyway, it's been in my bones and in my blood since the beginning, since I walked on that floor of the American Stock Exchange, when I heard the words Octave Dece. And I said to my father, what's an Octave Dece? He says, October, November, December. And he looked at me and he stared at me like, I'm going to strangle you. And I said, oh my God, I can't learn from this man, right? Anyway, have a great night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that story. That is a true story. Okay. Never average down. Be disciplined. Maintain your stops. And have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining me on The Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. And go to my X at Steve Kalajian. And please join me there. You'll see some great content and posts. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning into The Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe on YouTube at Trade EZ or on your favorite podcast platform. We'd love for you to rate, review, and join our community for more real talk and market insights. Until next time, keep trading and stay sharp.